Kurt Wagner, who was in the hearing today, and in New York, we've got Joyce Lai, an attorney for Consensus, a blockchain company focused on the cryptocurrency Ethereum. So, Kurt, we just spoke with Senator Warner, who was one of the senators questioning David Marcus today and was not satisfied with his answers. Paint the picture for us. What was happening in that room today?
Yeah, there were a number of senators similar to Senator Warner who really just don't trust Facebook right now. I mean, the trust deficit is incredible to really see. There were some senators who just blatantly said, "We don't trust you. Why should we ever trust you with a new currency? Why don't you fix your other problems before you start creating new ones?" It just kind of sets this standard, or this idea that no matter what Facebook does, they've lost so much trust at the moment that it's hard to imagine that this is going to take off in the way that they want it to.
Now, Joyce, part of the problem is there's confusion not just about what Facebook is planning to do here, but confusion about cryptocurrency in general. As someone who understands and works in the cryptocurrency industry, what are the outstanding questions you have after hearing what David Marcus had to say?
I think for the cryptocurrency industry here, some of the outstanding questions that I have, I think a lot of them are waiting for David Marcus's response to the senator's questions. For me personally, I want to use this opportunity to, help the public and help the senators understand that, yes, there is a skepticism against Facebook, but that there are also a lot of different projects out there, a lot of different blockchain ecosystems, for example, Ethereum out there, that everyone should really explore. And we really need to focus on what blockchain can do to help us solve some of these social problems. And going forward, I hope to see that everyone uses Facebook as a catalyst to really look into all the different projects that are out there in the world.
There's a question, though, Kurt, given this sort of vehement skepticism among lawmakers here, on top of everything else that Facebook is dealing with, you wonder at this point, do you question whether Libra will ever get off the ground?
I think it is a valid question, and I didn't necessarily maybe appreciate that until today, and just being in that room and seeing senator after senator really hammer home this same idea that they just don't really trust Facebook to do this the right way. I mean, Facebook really is kind of saying all the things that you would expect and want the company to say. They're saying, we want to work with regulators, we want to put in protections for consumers and make sure that there are other companies making decisions. This is not a Facebook-only product. Like, these are the things you want to hear from Facebook, and they are saying them, but no one seems to really care at that point. And so today was kind of a little bit of a turning point for me, as someone who's now covered this for about a month, to really feel like, wow, the pushback is a lot more intense in person even than what you've maybe read online.
And Joyce, the pushback isn't only in the United States. Other countries, for example, India has said, we don't want Libra in our country. Doesn't Facebook need the buy-in of global regulators in other countries if they want to have a currency that can be used everywhere?
Yes, they definitely need to get the buy-in from wherever they're operating. I think the conservative and the correct approach for responsible companies and industry is really to work together with the regulators and to make sure that everyone is on the same page before you proceed in operating in whichever jurisdiction you plan to. So yes, while they do need India's consent and buy-in before they can operate in India, it's possible that they have talked to different places and talked to different regulators there, and it's possible they've gotten comfort from them.
Bitcoin plunged today in the middle of this hearing, in the middle of all this skepticism. Are you at all worried about how what Facebook is planning to do here is affecting the rest of the industry, and could it hurt the work that you're trying to do?
I'm not worried about that. I think we're all in it for the long term here. We're really here because we're enthusiastic about what the technology can do for society in like a 20, 30-year term. So, these types of price swings are, a blip. They are sometimes a distraction, but we're not going to let that really stop us from focusing on the real work here.
So, Kurt, quickly, David Marcus in for another round of testimony tomorrow before the House. What are we expecting?
Yeah, I'm told to expect even kind of kookier questions from the House. I think there's almost twice as many members of that committee than there were today. And so, you know, having sat through one of those hearings before, I do think that it's going to be maybe even a little bit more aggressive than we saw today. You know, there's going to be a lot of pushback, quite frankly, and I'm sure that they'll be prepared for it.